Yeah, the thing about ministry for me is that ministry would have never happened for me if it hadn't been for all of you. The thing I know about myself is I can't do anything by myself. I have ideas, but that's about all I got. But I need all these people to see anything come to pass. And so the success of the ministry that I have been a part of is attributed to Mike and Carrie, first of all, for the vision and including me in on it, and then to all of you for doing what you do so faithfully, serving God, loving people.
Okay, we're here to celebrate 20 years and you're retiring, which means you're, to me, because I get it, we're the same age, really tired, right? So you're gonna retire and move.
Put those words together. Right?
Retired, really tired, and you're gonna move into another season. And so this is a great time to look back on where it all started.
Good evening and welcome to the Cove. It's good to see you here this evening. But if you know the words to the songs, we invite you to sing along. If you don't, just sit back, clap your hands, and enjoy it, all right? It's joy in the Lord, and I will praise you with a new song. Jesus is our Savior, there will be no other.
Rick, in one word. Joyful.
There are a lot of things I appreciate about Rick, but I wouldn't have had the job that I have as a graphic designer if it hadn't been for him. He was willing to take a chance on me.
I don't think there are words that can describe how grateful we are for who he is.
So when I first started working at the Cove and in ministry in general, Rick was my first direct report. He was my first boss, and he was always bringing kids, like he always had his kids with him, and that's impacted me in a huge way because I've.
And remember,
yes.
Mine is on the walk and that is on the brick.
Okay, because now I get to do the same thing. I get to do ministry with my family, and that's had a huge impact on me. This idea of it's not an either or. Like I get to do ministry, but like bring them along with me.
And I'm sure that somebody has already said this, but anytime he went on stage and said, all right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right.
That is my favorite. There's something about that that's magical.
I remember my wife Carrie and I praying for a Rick Carney after we'd seen you, met you. We're like, we need a Rick Carney. So we started praying for a Rick Carney. You weren't available at that time. But then God gave us the real thing.
And that's why you have to be careful what you pray for, because you're like, why in the world did we do that?
You might just get
what?
You might get what you pray for.
You might get what you pray for.
Well, you've taught me so much. That's one thing. We wanted a Rick Carney because we felt like you knew more than we did in ministry, and you taught me a lot. You mentored me, which is hard to lead up, to have to try to take your leader, the guy who's supposed to be the boss, and train him.
Well, that was one of the things God had to teach me, because as you know, we argued quite a bit in those days.
Didn't we?
And, but God got a hold of me about 2 years into it, and he just kind of said, I didn't put you here to create your vision for the Cove Church. I put you here to help fulfill the vision I gave Mike and Carrie. And so when he told me that, it was one of those aha moments for me.
The thing about Rick is Rick has the most faith of anybody that I know. As a leader, I watch Rick and I try to model after him. In fact, we have a thing in our house, a saying that whenever we feel like our faith is weak and that weaker than it should be, that we channel our best Rick Carney.
What did Rick teach you about doing things with excellence? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so we met Rick 16 years ago when we came to the Cove, and Rick allowed me to plan our first summer bash that we'd ever done for the Cove. And so he taught me to do it with excellence, whether it was all going well or going wrong. Just keep doing with excellence and do it for the Lord.
He was instrumental in getting me involved in ministry to a leadership role beyond just being a volunteer. He basically tried to impress upon me that part of this whole atmosphere of leading even volunteers in the worship ministry is you've got to shepherd them. And I'm like, well, I don't do that, Rick. And he says, well, you need to do that. He says, well, I don't shepherd people. That's not my thing. He says, well, it's going to have to be your thing because you're going to find out that you need to do that. And so I kind of came into that kicking and screaming. But I soon found out that he was right. And that's part of it that really matters more. It's not about playing the right notes or what song we're going to do and, who gets. It's not about any of that stuff. It's way more about the people and the relationships.
People are looking for a purpose. And the biggest purpose you can do is to be part of God's plan, whatever that is, however that looks, whether it's cleaning facilities, building something, shooting a video, singing a song, preaching a message.
He really reflects love for everyone, no matter where they're coming from. He sees everybody the same and he loved them the same way.
Our favorite memory with Rick was when we were starting the Hispanic neighborhood campus, that he went with us, knocking on doors, and I remember Rick with food in his hands and trying to speak in Spanish, but with that limitation. But he showed us that, love doesn't need words, basically.
It was the way Rick taught me to go out and build teams and challenged me to do that. It changed my life. It did.
I guess I would just summarize it by the most important thing, which is Rick has taught us to be better Christians. He's taught us to love people, to love God. You can't be in Rick's presence without feeling like you are just loved and accepted, and really that's what Christianity is about.